Taurus, welcome to your monthly horoscope for March 2025. My name is Adeana. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and in these monthly horoscopes, I go over all of the major energies you will be navigating for the month ahead. This month is a pretty big month as we enter eclipse season. We have Venus retrograde, then we have Mercury stationing retrograde. So we have quite a lot to cover and quite a lot going on. Now, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you align with my energy and enjoy my content. Now, let's get right into it. So, let's just touch briefly on some of the major transits for the month. So, on the first, we have Venus stationing retrograde at 10 degrees of Aries. Then on the third, we have Mercury entering Aries. Now, Mercury is going to retrograde over the same degree points pretty much as Venus. So, as we come into the month of March, Mercury will then be in pre-shadow. So, we want to start to pay attention to what is showing up for us around communication, information, conversations, and we will get much deeper into the energy once we get into the charts for the weeks. Now, on March 14th, we have our full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo at 23 degrees. On the 15th, we have Mercury stationing retrograde in Aries. And then on the 20th, we have the sun entering Aries. On the 22nd, we have our Venus Cazimi. On the 24th, we have our Mercury Cazimi. And then on the 27th, we have Venus re entering Pisces. Venus is going to retrograde back into Pisces. And then on the 29th, we have our new moon solar eclipse in Aries at 9 degrees, closing out the 2 year story that's been playing out in this Aries Libra axis of your chart. Now, also on the 29th, we have Mercury re entering Pisces. Mercury is going to retrograde back into Pisces. And then March 30th, we have Neptune entering Aries. This is a huge energy shift. So let's get into the charts. So, for those of you who have not watched my monthly horoscopes before, I do break the month down by week and I select a chart for each week to give you a bit of a visual. So, coming into the month on the first, we have Venus stationing retrograde. So we literally just had Mars station direct about 5 days prior to this. 5 days after Mars stations direct, Venus stations retrograde. We get about a week of all planets direct. Um, but Venus is going to station retrograde at 10 degrees of Aries in your 12th house. And the 12th house rules things, people, places that are hidden. Everything goes to the 12th house to hide. The 12th house also rules karma, the subconscious, spirituality. Hospitals, asylums, retreat centers are in the 12th house. Also, escapism, self-undoing and self-sabotaging behaviors and patterns. So there may be a lot around those themes and topics that you are reassessing or reevaluating the entire month of March with Venus retrograde and then with the Mercury retrograde as well. Now, on March 3rd, we will have Mercury entering Aries. So, again, we want to start to pay attention to what is showing up around conversations. Now, Mercury rules your second house of money, finances, and material possessions, also personal values. So, there can be a lot that you're reassessing or reevaluating when it has to do with your money and your finances. Mercury being in the 12th house, there can be an ending to something, a closing out, because the 12th house does represent endings. Mercury also rules your fifth house of children, creativity, passion, romance, creative projects are in the fifth house. And with the South Node here, and Mercury being the dispositor of the South Node, there can be a lot presented at this time. Um, Kind of giving you an idea of what will either be coming back from the past in this area of life or what is no longer in alignment and what you are moving away from in this area of life. So we want to pay attention to what is showing up there. Now, I have talked a lot about the Virgo Pisces axis with the nodes here, and for all of us in our own way, having the South Node in Virgo and the North Node in Pisces, we all really have to um, uh, try to let go of the need to control or the need to control outcomes with this South Node in Virgo and just learn to trust the universe. And this is when we can start to see situations, events, and experiences showing up really making you realize that you kind of, need to let go of control or just throw your hands up and say, okay, universe, I give it all to you. I trust the process. There can be a lot showing up where almost have no other choice. Now, Venus is also your chart ruler. So part of this Venus retrograde for the entire month of March, and I posted a Venus retrograde forecast. I'll link it up here in the video, but make sure you check that out. I also get into all 12 rising signs and all of the major conjunctions that Venus is going to make retrograde. But Venus is your chart ruler. So part of this Venus retrograde from March 1st to April 12th can be reassessing your needs, wants, and desires and how you connect within relationships and what you need from other people in your life. The Venus retrograde can also be showing up in that way, and there can be a lot surfacing, um, almost where you are letting go of certain aspects of yourself to put you on a better alignment um, with your spiritual path, if that makes sense, because of the first and 12th house kind of integration there. Now, once we get to the second week, we have on the 14th our full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo at 23 degrees. So, this is where there is new energy, more energy coming in. Um, I'll make sure I link my nodal forecast as well. But with every time we have an eclipse or activations of the nodal points, there's there's new energy or more experiences, events, people showing up that will initiate the changes in these areas of life. And so with this lunar eclipse in Virgo, this is one of those times, this entire month of March. So we really want to pay attention to what is showing up. But there can definitely be some energy or event or situation coming in where you are becoming more aware of what you need to let go of in this area of life or what may be coming back from the past when it has to do with children or creative projects, romantic connections. Now, on March 15th, we will have Mercury stationing retrograde in Aries at 9 degrees. And then on March 11th, we're actually going to have Venus retrograde and Mercury forming a conjunction. So also write that date down. I go over that conjunction in the Venus retrograde forecast. But there will be a Venus retrograde and Mercury conjunction March 11th. That is when you can have um, some information coming in or a really important conversation or insight or something coming in where you are almost when this is when we really get an idea of how these energies are showing up, especially with that Mercury South Node energy here in the fifth, and what you will be rethinking and reevaluating during the Mercury retrograde. Now, once we get to week 3 on the 20th, we have the sun entering Aries. So the sun is going to enter your 12th house. Now, I also just want to make note that on March 17th, I didn't put it in here, but on March 17th, we will have the sun forming a conjunction to the North Node. And I want you to write this date down, March 17th, because the lunar nodes primarily work with the sun and the moon. And so when we have the sun forming a conjunction to the North Node, we can have some really beautiful energy coming in this area of life. And this all being, this Pisces energy being in your 11th house of friends and friendships, social groups, and networking. Also your hopes and dreams, there can be something really beautiful the middle of March, especially around that March 11th with the Sun North Node conjunction, that can help guide you into this kind of new journey that you will be taking in the 11th house. So I just wanted to point that out. Now, on the 22nd, we're going to have our Venus Cazimi at 2 degrees of Aries. And Cazimi is when the sun and the planet form a conjunction within so many minutes. So it's less than a degree. And that is when we have a Cazimi. So Venus Cazimi, Mercury Cazimi. And this is where we can have really powerful insight, clarity, epiphany, something really beautiful showing up for us. This can be a conversation with someone. This is all in your 12th house of spirituality, karma, and intuition. So I would be paying attention to your intuitive downloads. Um, and also, too, Venus being your chart ruler, really pay attention on the 22nd. What is showing up for you? What type of support is coming in for you with this sun conjunction to Venus? There's something. And also, too, I just got the sun being the ruler of the fourth house of home and family and feelings and foundation. There can be some really beautiful support from family members, showing up at this time to help you navigate whatever you're moving through throughout the month of March and with this retrograde energy. Now we get to week 4, and on the 24th, we have our Mercury Cazimi at 4 degrees of Aries. So, again, this is where Mercury and the Sun form a conjunction. This is in your 12th house. Now, Mercury ruling that second house and that fifth house, this is where there can be some information coming in, or you're having a conversation with someone. This can have to do with money, finances, and material possessions and personal values. And again, I'm leaning more towards the fifth house themes and topics because I believe this is where we really get some insight into what this south node is going to bring. Whether it's a releasing and letting go of something in this area of life, or if it's something coming back from the past. But that Mercury Cazimi is going to trigger and activate some change in this area of life. So, again, this fifth house rules children, creative projects, your creativity, your romantic connections. Everything you do for fun is kind of in that fifth house, your hobbies, your interests. Um, and yeah, and then on the 27th, we will have Venus re-entering Pisces. So Venus is going to retrograde back into Pisces in your 11th house of and form a conjunction to the North Node as well. So I get into all that energy in the Venus retrograde, but Venus, there's a lot around this North Node, and the North Node has been at that 27th degree point since February 8th and will be there until April 17th, this 27 degrees. So there is a lot going on here when it has to do with this new journey we are all moving into in this area of life. On the 29th, we have our new moon solar eclipse in Aries at 9 degrees. And this is closing out the 2-year story and change that's been taking place in the Aries Libra axis. So, if you think back the last 2 years, what has changed around the 6th and 12th house themes and topics? So, the 6th house is your work, health, daily routine, nutrition habits, um, workout routine. This is health. Health is in the 6th house. Also, pets is in the 6th house. And the labor that you put into your work and your job is in the 6th house. And then the 12th house is, isolation and people, places, things that are hidden. So, were you more um, kind of prone to stepping away from the world the last 2 years, taking some time for you and not necessarily, putting yourself out there? This solar eclipse that we are having in Aries is closing that energy out. So there's something new coming in to complete that story with this new moon solar eclipse in Aries. Now, also on the 29th, we have Mercury re-entering Pisces here in your 11th house. And then on the 30th, we have Neptune entering Aries. This is going to be a huge energy shift. And this is in your 12th house, which Neptune does good in the 12th house. Um, but Neptune in Aries is definitely going to be a different energy. Neptune being in your 12th house can actually enhance, your intuition, What we do want to watch for with Neptune is Neptune tends to blur boundaries, confuse things. Neptune rules delusion, illusion, escapism. And so, with Neptune in that 12th house, we do have to be careful because the 12th house kind of already rules like escapism and self undoing, self sabotaging. With Neptune in the 12th house, that energy can. Be amped up a little bit. So we do want to be cautious of that. But Neptune will be in Aries from March 30th to October 22nd. And I will be posting a separate forecast getting much deeper into those energies. But this is giving us a taste of what this Neptune and Aries energy is going to bring us. So, Taurus, I hope this helps you navigate the energy for March. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will connect with you all in the next one.